Los Angeles, live on tape, it's the Dennis Miller Show. Tonight, from Knots Landing, Joan Van Ark, comedian Rick Reynolds, journalist Nancy Collins, Zydeco musician Boozoo Chavis.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Nice to have you here. I'm proud to announce that tonight's monologue is Broadway caliber. You're not going to kill me, are you, Ben? It's your job to keep an eye on this cat. All right. I do that non-death thing. Okay. Well, today is Super Tuesday, which, of course, is then followed by Hard Slap of Reality Wednesday. Super Tuesday, never have so many voted for so little. Secretary of State James Baker said he did not make anti-Semitic remarks attributed to him. This led Pat Buchanan to bitterly renounce Baker for not having the courage of his lack of conviction. Buchanan says if he's elected president, he'll put a fence between Mexico and the United States to keep out illegal immigrants and to keep in those Americans who try to escape once he takes over. You're going to see me running down the naked of the 405, all right? Hey, look at this. It's Mambo Week. Mambo Kings came out. You believe somebody sold that as a dance? Yeah, call it the Mambo. Yeah, the Mambo. Yeah, there's a marketing thing. Well, hi, Boozoo. How you doing, man? How you doing? All right, I'm Dennis.
Glad to be here.
That's, is that a plastic apron?
That's a plastic apron.
All right. I'll roll with you, you wacky Cajun. California Governor Pete Wilson has accused Pat Buchanan of waging a, quote, downright racist and anti-Semitic campaign. Buchanan thanked Wilson for helping him to get his message across to the voters of California. See, where scientists have now isolated the gene that causes asthma. Evidently, they heard the gene wheezing in the corner, and they were able to go right to it. Surgeon General and the American Medical Association are demanding that R.J. Reynolds stop using the cartoon character Joe Camel in its promotion for Camel cigarettes. They said the character... Did you say... Now you've gone beyond charming to, what? Jeez, I am dealing with the whole Soul Train gang over here, you. All right, Nicky, I might have to duke with this kid. You in?
I'm behind you, baby.
All right, man. Boom. Anyway, they wanted to get rid of Joe Campbell. They said the character was more recognizable than Mickey Mouse to 6-year-olds. Surprisingly, you got to give R.J. Reynolds credit. They acquiesced, and they've agreed to use Mickey Mouse instead. So, pretty nice of them. Maybe they can get Fred Rogers to sing Puff the Magic Camel while they're at it. Mexican and U.S. officials made a record drug bust in El Paso, Texas yesterday, confiscating 250 tons of cocaine. Officials, some of it got through. Some of the stuff that had been cut with dust. Yeah, officials said they weren't confiscating it because it was a drug, but because it was a foreign import. So there's the important difference. Richard Kreimer, read this story. Homeless for 11 years, he received $158,000 for challenging rules that barred smelly people from a New Jersey library. He was a guy who would go in there periodically, and he hadn't changed his clothes, and he had a bit of a smell to him. He won $158,000. He said he plans to use the money he won to vacation in the lobby of a great hotel somewhere in the world. Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum paid $22,000 for a pair of authentic shrunken heads, shattering the mark previously held by the Landers sisters. And according to a recent study, about 15% of men and women said they would seek help from other family members if they had a serious depression. The other 85% said that if it wasn't for family members, they wouldn't be depressed. Gun sales are down in this country. Oh, no! It's tough. Yeah, I know. As I got shut up, couldn't get one. Bang. It's tough being in an industry where your product systematically eliminates its customers. The Supreme Court has refused to hear an appeal on political term limits. A lot of politicians are mad. They don't think 2 to 4 years is long enough time to really screw the American people, and they want some more time in there. And finally, a federal judge yesterday told Leona Helmsley to get ready for jail, and Leona started to cry. But then she realized the water could melt her, and she stopped. Tonight, my guest star, Joan Van Ark, is here. Yeah. And joining the band tonight, Boozoo Chavis. Boozoo, how are you, buddy?
Good evening, each and every one.
What's that, Boozoo?
Good evening, everybody.
Oh, good evening to you, too. Now, Boozoo, who's with you in the Axl Rose chest protector there? Who is that?
Who I am, Mark?
No. A guy next to you there.
Daddy Blimp.
Daddy Blimp.
Daddy Blimp.
Your Daddy Blimp. That's so weird because my rap name is Daddy Blimp. Yeah, we also have journalist Nancy Collins is joining us tonight, and comedian Rick Reynolds will be here. Thank you very much for recording.
This portion of the Dennis Miller Show is brought to you by Budweiser. Nothing beats a Bud.
Thank you. Boozoo Chavis, folks. Boozoo. Now, Boozoo, as Daddy Blimp is your son, right?
Yes, sir.
Old family name, or how did you come upon?
The whole family. My trademark.
Oh, all right.
I gotta have a cushion to rest my square-board on.
All right, Daddy Blimp. Hey, put the camera on that second guy, the second row there, guy in the end. Let him freak out for a while so I can get this out of the way. Go ahead, go ahead. Go ahead, get it all out. All right, then. It's like popping a zit. I was either gonna, get it out of the way or sit there and let it fester the whole show. All right, my carbuncle-like friend, it's Super Tuesday, and you know what that means, kids. We should know which Democrat, come November, will climb into the Thunderdome with King George. It's supposed to be a childhood dream, but is running for the president really anything more than a glorified self-promotional gambit of greedy two-bit honchos bred in the intellectual wasteland of Rotary clubs, country fairs, and backroom pork barrel mud wrestling contests? It is the topic for tonight's Case For and Case Against running for the presidency. Case for running for president. You can't do worse than Mondale. Against? That's what they told Dukakis. Case for, people pay $1,000 a plate to eat with you. Case against, their checks bounce like Super Balls dropped from the space shuttle. For, maybe you can run a campaign as successfully as Bush did in '88. Against, eventually, Mephistopheles will come to collect. Case for, rock stars champion your cause. Against, who wants to hear Donovan sing Mellow Yellow again? Case for, your wife gets lots of airtime. Against, they find out she's an airhead. Case for, you get bodyguards. Against, you need them. Case for, you get to kiss babies on the cheek. Against, you get to kiss corporate execs on the ass. Case for, you can put your ideals into action for a better America. Against, by the time you get this far, you owe more favors than Fredo Corleone at the chicken ranch. And finally, the case for running for president. If nominated, you get to choose a vice presidential running mate. The case against, you know. And that's for and against running for the presidency, folks. Yeah. Okay. All righty. My first guest has twice been voted the best actress in a leading role by Soap Opera Digest for her portrayal of Valvoline Ewing. And her weight fluctuates between 10 and 40. No, that's so bad. But she's a multi-viscous little gal. Please welcome Joan Van Ark. I think Daddy Blimp just rubbed his spoon blunt over there. No, hey, you look great in it. I always wondered, these are, see, you have to show them, they can't see the thing. It's the,
well, I beg your pardon.
It's the biggest one, the Dennis Miller bathrobe, folks.
On me, it's tiny, but I mean, if you had, what, Dolly Parton, Dennis, you'd have...
No, well, how do you think she looks in it? This is what we give to each...
It's the washcloth that goes...
I don't know what that is. Somebody else brought that out. Laura Dern brought that out, and it's... I thought it was like a yarmulke.
That's what I was going to say, a little skull cap or something, but...
I guess it's a little loofah cloth or something.
Well, I'll save it, wait.
All right, hang on to that.
Now, you call me Valvoline, and...
I'm sorry.
No, you're right, though, because somebody did a scene with me just a couple days ago, and they said, what's your name? I said, Valine, and they said, sounds like motor oil. So it's...
Somebody did that in the...
in the scene, and they're going to have it on the episode.
So I guess it was pretty much on top of that,
yes,
huh?
You know what's going on.
Did you tape your final episode of your 13th season today? Wow, you going back?
Today is wrap day, and we do not know at all whether we are coming back. We've done 13 seasons. We don't know if there'll be a next year or not. It probably depends on how you all.
Well, you know, Bill Devane, he's over the years, he's the only one who looks like he's been there 13 years. No, I don't mean,
That's
he
funny.
just got rougher, you know?
No, but women on soap operas never age. Children grow up fast, they get rid of them, because otherwise we'd all be grannies.
But the men are allowed to become old.
That's right, and they never use filters with them or anything. The men, you can tell that maybe it's 1 year to the next, but we're somewhere in this sort of never land age-wise, so.
Yeah, you look even better than the beginning, because at the beginning, wasn't your character a bit more, she wasn't as evolved, right? She was a bit of a rural gal?
Hayseed. She was hayseed for sure. But in fact, it was my idea to do the little French braids, and the little puffy sleeves, and the little white gloves, and she's very Southern, but she's come into her own. Yeah. And I guess a little bit so have I. If it goes back, you want to go back, right? Or there's only been a few shows that have run this long, haven't there? I think that Bonanza and Dallas are ahead of us right now. We're like the third longest running show. So if it goes next year, we'll be right up there, might even tie for first place. I'm not really sure, but we're one of the first three longest running. Now, Bill Devane played Haas on Bonanza, didn't he? He just keeps rotating from long running show. He's amazing. He did the show, didn't he? No, he hasn't been on yet. I think he's going to be on, though, maybe. No. Please, still come on, Bill. I like you old and gray. We'll be right back. We're going to take a commercial. We'll be right back with Joan Van Ark after this, folks. We are just having a bayou good time here, folks. Paul Prudhomme, Dom DeLuise, slam dancing. It's a riot over here. Hey, now why do you think this show's last 13 years? What is it about it that, yeah, I guess some of the other soaps, they seem to hit the wall. It's like, well, you run marathons, so you know that feeling. It's like the 21-mile mark. Sometimes you hit it at mile 10. When I did the Boston Marathon, I hit it at 10 because I was so uptight about running the Boston Marathon. I think it's because we have the Bill Devanes, we've had Julie Harris, we had Ava Gardner. Actually, Ava Gardner played Bill Devane's mother on the show. We've had such a potpourri of acting talent and various age groups and people who contribute different notes to the show. We have two producers, David Jacobs and Michael Fileman, who have stayed available to what our audience wants without insulting the audience and doing something ridiculous. Spaceships or showers that are dreams, or Moldavia, which, with all due respect to those shows, the audience said, wait a minute. And I don't know that we've really had a storyline ever that made the audience say, what are you trying to do? What do you think we are? Crazy. And so we've respected the audience. And we have a company of actors, I think, who care about each other and care about the material, and we get to contribute. If we feel something's outlandish, we can go right to the producers and talk about it and have an exchange. I know you care about Julie Harris because she actually got you started, in essence. I think we have a picture of you when you were, how old were you in this picture? This is, 12. Oh, God, I don't want to put you on the spot. But oh, God, 12 at least. A young actress on her way up. Do we have it locked in the stills? Looks like I'm wearing the same thing I'm wearing tonight. Wow. Kind of a Joan of Arc thing there. What were you playing there? I was playing Joan of Arc. Joan Van Ark does Joan of Arc. And the thing was, no, really, Philippe Halsman did that photo, and that's really, it's like being photographed by Scavullo or somebody incredible, and it was exciting. When you're working with a photographer like that, it's like being with a great director. It turns you on. No, especially when you're like that young. You must have felt like you were in the center of the universe at that point. In fact, I had we're going to rehearsal for Joan of Arc. A traffic cop stopped me and said, hey, lady, where's your fire? And I said, it's mine. I'm on my way to rehearsal instead of Joan of Arc. And he issued a ticket that said Joan, J-O-N-E, Van Ark, which made it invalid. So he was playing along with it. But I got out the ticket, thank God. Tell us how Julie helped get you started. You were interviewing her when you were young? Right? Yes, I was actually for the Rocky Mountain News in Denver. I grew up in Colorado. And Julie was coming through in a play, and sort of they wanted to do the young starlet interviewing the star. And I had said to her, I was thinking already about college, but in college you had to take so many other jelly beans 1 and 2 before you really got into the acting courses. And she said that out of high school, she went to the Yale Graduate School of Drama. So she suggested that I write to the dean, which I did, and I got a scholarship out of Boulder High School to go to Yale Drama School, which
was very exciting. I was the second one after Julie to do that.
Oh, that's neat.
Segue to Knots, and she plays my mother.
She remembers the interview, of course.
She does, yeah, actually, yes,
you
she
guys
does.
stayed close throughout the years?
Not
or
really, no, not from the interview, but then, of course, when the producers came up to me on Knots and says, "We found your mother," and I fully expected one of the Gabors or something, not, no, but I mean, I wasn't
Magda.
sure. Magda, maybe.
The forgotten Gabor.
Wasn't sure which one.
Magda was sort of like the Shemp of the Gabor family, Shemp and the Three Stooges.
Oh, okay.
Well, Magda was
one of those.
really bad association.
Well, it wasn't one of the Gabors, and it wasn't Magda or the Shemp, or any of it. It's Julie Harris, and she played my mother on the show for about 7 years.
Hey, now I look at your face, and under this light, you see all of you have such beautiful skin. Now, you get this from running all the time.
No, I got stressed out, cliffhanger, Clearasil.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
one little thing there. But I'm just saying,
thing.
this must come from your running. I know you run like a fiend.
I
don't
do
you?
run. I run. That's my shrink, and I love it. And it's I do about 5. I remember you had said some interview.
Yeah,
how many miles? Okay, I'm between 5 and 7 miles a day now.
That's it?
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm not marathoning. Yeah, I'm sorry to let you down. It's only only about 7 miles.
No,
at a pop.
I'm teasing. That's so. I did 5 and 7 miles last decade, I believe.
Do you run?
Yeah, well, I run on a treadmill,
Oh.
and I watch TV, and I feel like I'm cheating. Because they set it at, like, slower than actually standing still.
Then you are cheating. You are.
And I just have, like, 3 of them set up around a TV, and I feel like I'm an Indian at a, I go around the covered wagon. It's his fault! So, Knots, when will we know about it? When's the final decree come in here?
They had given us 2 different dates. They said February 15th, and then they said March 1st. So I'm guessing it has to be close to now, this week sometime.
Well, I hope it comes back. I like the show. It's one of the few
it?
shows in prime time I watch.
Do you?
Yeah, I think Michelle and I like their marriage. I think they have a nice, spunky marriage.
They have a good relationship, and that's the thing. It's relatable. The show is highly relatable.
Yeah,
if it's a compliment if someone like you is watching.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming on,
Thank
Joan.
you.
Joan Van Ark, folks. We'll be right back with Boozoo Chavis right after this.
Here we go.
This portion of the Dennis Miller Show is brought to you by new Folgers Coffee Singles. Freshly brewed coffee, 1 cup at a time. One more time.
Yeah, Boozoo. I've just been alerted that by appearing on this show tonight, I can no longer do the Arsenio Hall show. So, the price you pay. Boy, it's hot in here tonight, isn't it? Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of this and do that Larry King thing. And now here to perform the song Zydeco Hee Haw off. Oh, by the way, Hee Haw, answering to charges of sexism, changed the name of the show to Person Haw today. Off the Electra album entitled Boozoo Chavis is the reigning king of Zydeco himself, Boozoo Chavis. Take it away, Boozoo.
Parlamento. Et tous les toits des parlaments. Parlamento.
croisés par la même bande. Oh, what eating up? Bill, don't jump. Eat, yeah, not delay. Tous les deux par la main jaune. Et tous les croisés par la main bonne.
Boozoo. Yeah. Boozoo Chavis, folks. Yeah, Boozoo. Boozoo was wailing, man. You see that long move there? He started windmilling like Townsend, man. Mama's got a squeeze box, daddy doesn't sleep, man. We'll be right back with Nancy Collins after this.
If you're going to be in Los Angeles and would like to attend the taping of the Dennis Miller Show, please drop us a note. Care of the Dennis Miller Show, Post Office Box 4150, Hollywood, California 90078, or call us at 818-506-0043.
Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome back. Tomorrow night, my guest will be Tom Jones, actor Hector Elizondo, and from WKRP in Cincinnati, Tawny Katan. That's the new KRP, of course, not KRP Classic. Now, how much time do we have for this segment? Because I want to talk to this Nancy Collins woman, and we have a comedy bit to do, but... Huh? Oh, okay, good. All right, we're going to do this now. David Duke finds himself fighting for his political life now that Pat Buchanan is out in the open. How will he respond? Let's take a look into the suggestion box at David Duke campaign headquarters. All right. Yeah, all right, folks. Thank you for the music. None of them are handwritten. I think if we offered Buchanan Grand Wizard position, he'd lay off of us. Anonymous. Let's take the money we're wasting on Hitler seances and put it into a campaign for a Hitler stamp. Solid idea. I think I'm running up against some pro-Duke audience here. All right. I think our slogan should be "Some Americans First." Anonymous. Let's name the campaign softball team Boys in the Hoods from Lloyd. Dear David, your I hate everybody who isn't white memo pads are ready. Mike from the print shop. Never change. I didn't. Kurt Waldheim. Thank you, Kurt. We could use a little more love and a little less hate. A little less hate around here. Signed, a guy who's in the wrong place at the wrong time. Didn't we go out once? Signed, Jennifer. We need, Jennifer Flowers is waiting, counting the moments between times her name's mentioned on TV. All right? We need more celebs on our side. I'm tired of having dinner with nobody. Anonymous. And lastly, Duke, loved you in True Grit. Dan Quayle. So, yeah, Thank you, Boozoo. Thank you, Daddy Boom. All right, we did tomorrow night's guests. A lot of cards up here. My next guest is a contributing editor of Vanity Fair magazine. She had the enviable assignment of interviewing Jack Nicholson recently for the issue that will be on the stands tomorrow. Please welcome Nancy Collins, folks. Nancy. How you doing, Nance?
First of all, let me say that Weekend Update has been so boring without you. Isn't that true?
Let's hope I'm not going back to do it again. Hey, I just read the interview before I came down here. Did you see the picture? Do we have this in the... Look at Jack.
That's the first time it's been on air.
With his little bambinos.
Babies. Those aren't actually his babies. We rented babies for that picture.
Oh, rental babies. You know what? I obviously don't know the man at all. You seem to have interviewed him more than anybody else, but I admire, I guess some people think of him as an iconoclast, but I admire him for being such a imbiber of life. I mean, this man certainly seems to enjoy his life more than most people I know. Is that true when you get to know him?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what makes Jack so interesting is he really loves his life, and he's not ashamed of anything. As he says in the beginning of the piece, I'm not ashamed of the way I live. Now, he goes on to tell me in this piece that he and his current lady, Rebecca Broussard, with whom he's had these 2 children, live in different houses. Jack lives in the house he's lived in for 20 years, and he bought her a house down the road. He said, but this is not an architectural issue. No, he said, this is an architectural decision, not a moral decision. Mm-hmm. He said, think of it as 2 bedrooms separated by a rather large space.
I love the quote at the end of the article when you ask him about is he still burned with passion or something, and he said, I consider myself to be a lightly reined-in, voracious animal.
Beast, he said.
Beast. That is such a funny approach to it.
You know, I think of all the movie stars I've interviewed, Dennis, he's the smartest. He's really a very original thinker, and he's kind of like a 50s Beat who has lasted through 3 decades and is very loved in Hollywood, as you know, because he's so generous. Mm-hmm. He's very good to his friends. He makes sure all of his friends work, and he gives money to them under the table, or, you know, as a friend would. He's a very generous guy.
Yeah, I was in a driving range once. He was hitting golf balls next to me, and he's not the greatest golfer in the world, but every person who came by came up to him and gave him advice. And I was there for an hour watching this, and I thought, he must be steaming, but he was so cordial with every one of them. I thought, this must be a pretty good guy. Now, he's one of the good guys you interview, one of the interesting guys. Who was, well, let's first off, who was tough for you? Who was a minefield?
Well, theoretically, it was Ted Koppel, who I did, because in our business, in the news business, Ted Koppel's the Dalai Lama. Yeah. And I was very nervous about this. And I talked to everybody, including I tracked down his high school teachers. I talked to Henry Kissinger about him. And when I got there, I knew I had to be really on the money. And he turned out to be a formidable partner. It was like playing John McEnroe in center court at Wimbledon.
Yeah,
but
he's sharp.
He very, very fast. But he turned out to be a great opponent and lots of fun, and I thought very sexy, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Even with the Bobby Goldsboro?
It's true. What can I tell you? He's a wit, he's intelligent, and he's funny, and that's sexy.
Yeah, and he's got the Bobby Goldsboro watching Scotty Grow haircut working for him.
And that is his hair. I get asked that all the time. Right.
Well, you better believe it, because he'd have a libel suit against the rug company if that was fake. You don't go in and say, give me the German World War II helmet, but tussle it a little. Now, who was just a drag to interview out of all these people you interview? Who?
Well, I could probably die a happy woman if I never talked to Sylvester Stallone again.
Yeah, you didn't get along with Sylvester?
Well, I did get along. I mean, my job is to get along with these people, and remember, they're on their best behavior. Nobody beats their wife in front of me. Mm-hmm. But he just is kind of, once you've done the interview with Sylvester, he has one life story, and he's been telling it ongoingly for the last 15 years, and I just didn't find him incredibly interesting, actually. That was the main thing. Mm-hmm. He was also, at the time, I might add, engaged to Brigitte Nielsen, remember that? So he was very distracted. He didn't have time for to talk to another blonde, trust me.
Well, you know, they're always running off to watch dailies of that day shooting on Red Sonja.
Or Cobra. I think they were actually shooting Cobra when
Cobra,
I did them.
of course.
Cobra. How could you forget that?
Hey, now, it would seem to me that, how did you get interested in interviewing? Because you are going to bump into people that you don't like, and what attracted you in the first place?
Well, I started out to be an actress, and then I realized that I didn't want my life to be dependent on the kindness of those kind of strangers. And I faked my way into an interview when I was in college, and I got into the interview. It was with Rod McEwen. You remember Rod McEwen?
Oh, sure.
Listen to the Warm.
I've actually met him. You're lucky.
Yeah.
Was he nice? He was nice.
He's very sweet.
Yeah.
He's a very sweet guy. And I got in there, and I started asking questions, and he answered everything I asked, and I thought, my God, what a great job this is. You don't even have to have a license.
So you were just bluffing?
I was bluffing, and then I managed to get that printed in a newspaper in Boston where I was in college, and I just said, this is a thunderbolt. And from then on, I just took off. And I also was a kid from Montana. You know, I'm from Hamilton, Montana, population 2,000. So I really had to, I was curious about the world. I think that was the real thing, the curiosity.
What do you think it is about you that Jack lets you do 3 interviews with him and nobody else hardly talks to him?
Well, it is a question of chemistry, isn't it, with people?
Yeah.
I mean, you know that from sitting here.
Does he flirt with you?
Yes, he flirts. He flirts. And, you know, within the context of the interview, I flirt back. But you stop it within the context of the interview. I mean, in many ways, I guess you could say I'm in the seduction business. I do seduce for a living, but so do they.
Yeah.
And the thing with actors is to sort of out-seduce them.
Well, I've got to stop it here, baby. We'll be right back with Rick Reynolds after this. Thanks for calling. Welcome back, folks. Boozoo. My next guest has written, directed, and starred in his own critically acclaimed one-man show, Only the Truth is Funny. Very funny gentleman. Please welcome Rick Reynolds, folks. Rick. How are you, Ricardo?
Good. Neelan's going to love that update comment.
What was it?
Remember? Update sucks now that you're not there.
Oh, from Nancy.
Yeah.
I cannot.
gonna be very
I
hurt.
cannot control what goes on from that chair,
All right.
Ricardo.
All right.
Hey, now I saw your one-man show in New York. I was the one bravoing in the back of the room.
thank
but
you.
I have to get the cases with you here. What is this neurotic aversion to being called a stand-up comedian?
I don't have a
come on.
neurotic aversion to that. You know, Nazi would be good, you know, instead. I don't know. Stand-up comedy has got to be a thing that I dreaded doing. And for really obvious reasons. I mean, you must have, too. You got out of it way before I did when you got into Saturday Night Live. Did you always enjoy it?
I still love it. You know, I feel it's a very noble profession. But I don't see all the trappings of it. Is it just a venue change that takes you from stand-up to a one-man
I think
show?
stand-up could have gone one of 2 different ways. In the early days, there were guys who opened for strippers, and there were guys who worked in coffee shops and talked about politics and stuff. And it's gone really stripper. I mean, even tonight, with the guys, I don't know where they were. Really out of control guys. I hate performing for those guys.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we've gone past the me generation to the me. I want to be part of the show. I mean, for an example, and to take nothing away from you, nobody in this audience likes you 2 minutes worth of applause. Nobody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you come out and it won't stop with the applause and it just goes on and on. Are you embarrassed by that?
No,
that's them saying-
I realize that they like me 3 minutes worth, but we have to get on with the show.
It's not true. Bull.
Hey. Come on, down. I don't know. Didn't you ever get into showbiz for some of that magic? It's a little bit fake.
Let me ask you this question.
Okay.
As far as the love with your audience. We take this audience out, machine guns pointed at their heads, all of them, and we strap your hand down, and there's an axe going to cut your little finger off. Which would you rather? Have your little finger cut off, or have them all die?
Why, sure, I'd lose my little finger.
Oh, you lying bastard!
But then again, the reason I say that is because I'm in syndication.
There you go. You gotta. You'll suck up to whoever you have to. Anyway,
It's not suck it up. There's something fun about the game, isn't there? You don't have
there
to.
are incredibly great stand-ups, and there are friends, and they're really good. But you got out of it at the time. You no longer go to Chuck's and Walla
Still do
Walla.
clubs? Yep, still do.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, people respect you.
Yeah.
Lord knows why, but they do.
All right. Let's talk about your, now, one thing we can share. Now, this is an unadulterated joy.
Right.
Obviously, for both of us, we just had kids. So
I know.
tell me,
I haven't seen. How old is your?
my little boy's 18 months old.
13 months.
Yeah.
And if you don't have kids, you don't know. It sounds like, oh, shut up already. It is so great, this thing.
Yeah.
Is it not?
Well, it's unqualified joy. It's unfiltered joy. You don't find anything wrong with that, do you?
No. Although, I used to hate children.
I was going to say, now, if the Nazis had your kid tied up on those two bent-over trees like they did in the old Tarzan movies.
Would you?
Tell me about, what's your big revelations about having a kid? How has it opened
I think
you up?
the neatest thing about having a kid is it's the only thing in life you can't walk away from. If this show got too much, the hours are too much, you go, screw it, I'm gone. Break my contract, sue me. I really don't care. You can't do that with your kid. You just can't. Screaming 3 in the morning, you're going, oh, Christ, I want to sleep. You can't. You got to get up. And I think it matures you. It makes you be a grown-up. And I've gotten very teary. I'm very weepy about my son, Cooper. Just anything. I saw, this is true, a McDonald's commercial, right? Guy walks in and says, I want an Egg McMuffin. I'm going to go see my daughter. Then he goes to the hospital, and his wife's in bed, right? And he leans over, and there's a baby. I'm sitting there, and I burst out crying. Nothing there, no reason to cry. I'm Mr. Weepmeister. I won't cry if somebody's in the room with me. Are you that way?
Well, just the mere
I go,
thought
screw the
of
kid,
how
I don't
bad-
care. I mean,
Yeah, just the mere thought of how bad McDonald's is always brings tears in my eyes.
Can you say McDonald's? I'm doing this show for NBC, and Standard & Practices steps in. The things you can't say. You can't mention a product. Like right now, if I said, I love Kellogg's Raisin Bran, some lawyer's running around, and I hate Post Raisin Bran. Somebody right now, there's a lawsuit going to be, hopefully on you.
Tell me about the new show, real quick. It's, when's it coming up in the fall?
It's coming up in the fall, and I want to say this, NBC has been nothing but great, because it's a cutting-edge, different kind of show. It's really dark, sardonic. I call it a dysfunctional Wonder Years, and they have been, no, it's true, Warren Littlefield has been absolutely great. Yeah. But I'm here actually to push, I'm doing my one-man show in San Francisco.
Up in San Francisco. Its final run begins at the Marines Memorial Theater in San Francisco, March 25th through May 10th. Only the Truth is Funny, and it truly is one of the great nights of theater. Well, I'll call it theater because you're into theater now.
Thanks a lot, Dennis.
It was funny. That's what it was.
Thanks.
It was funny. Rick Reynolds, folks. We'll be right back after this.
This portion of the Dennis Miller Show is brought to you by Butterfinger. Nobody better lay a finger on my Butterfinger.
Welcome back. Thank you. I'd like to thank my guests, Joan Van Ark, Boozoo Chavis, who gave me these Boozoo underwear, and they're inscribed. It says, I love this. It says, take them off, throw them in the corner. Thank you, Boozoo. Maybe I can get the larger Daddy Blimp size. Nancy Collins and Rick Reynolds. Good night, teenagers. Thank you. Bye-bye.
When in Los Angeles, guests of the Dennis Miller Show stay at the St. James Club and Hotel.
Oh, my dear, oh, my